After banning gold exports and reclaiming the gold mine in favor of the local producers, Burkina Faso produces its first gold batch.
Capitaine Zongo, voilà, ça n'a pas l'air de voilà, une minute de mine.
S'il vous plaît, au directeur général qui a son tour.
Excusez pour la photo. Pour la photo.
Under the bold leadership of Ibrahim Traoré, the country has taken a historic step by producing its first independent batch of gold since decolonization. For decades, Burkina Faso's gold industry, like much of its economy, was dominated by foreign corporations, many tied to former colonial powers like France. These companies extracted billions of dollars worth of gold, but left little behind for the Burkinabé people. When Ibrahim Traoré, a 35-year-old military captain, came to power in 2022, he promised sweeping changes. And boy, has he delivered. One of his most controversial moves, banning gold exports controlled by foreign companies and reclaiming mining operations in favor of local producers. Let's talk numbers. Burkina Faso is the fourth largest gold producer in Africa, and gold accounts for nearly 70% of its exports. Yet, until now, only a fraction of that wealth stayed in the country. Imagine exporting billions in gold, but your hospitals are underfunded and your roads barely exist. Traoré's strategy changed that equation entirely. By nationalizing gold production and supporting local miners, the wealth stays within Burkina Faso. The goal isn't just to produce gold, it's to ensure the profits fuel schools, healthcare, and infrastructure for the people. And it's already making waves. Here's what one local miner had to say. "Before we worked hard, but the rewards went abroad. Now we see hope that this gold will build our future." In November 2024, Burkina Faso celebrated a landmark moment, its first gold production completely managed and controlled by its people. This was more than just a gold bar. It was a symbol of independence, a bold statement that Burkina Faso is reclaiming its resources one step at a time. Of course, not everyone is thrilled. Western powers and foreign corporations are watching closely and nervously. Why? Because Traoré's policies challenge the traditional neo-colonial structures that have kept African nations dependent on outside forces. Some analysts are calling this move a geopolitical game-changer. Traoré is signaling that Africa can take control of its resources and chart its own course. But others warn that this independence won't come easy. Will Burkina Faso face economic sanctions? Could this inspire other African nations to follow suit? And what does this mean for global gold prices? For now, Burkina Faso is focused on the future. Traoré's administration is working on creating a national gold reserve and developing industries around mining to create jobs and build self-sufficiency. But the real winners are the people. This milestone represents more than economic progress. It's about national pride, dignity, and the dream of a brighter future. Some African leaders have praised Traoré's vision, calling it a blueprint for breaking free from neo-colonial economic systems. Neighboring Mali and Niger, also under military-led governments, are reportedly considering similar moves. Critics from Europe and North America are calling Traoré's policies resource nationalism, warning that such moves could destabilize foreign investments in Africa. Translation: they're worried about losing control of the continent's resources. Here's the reality. Africa is one of the most resource-rich continents on Earth, but much of its wealth is controlled by foreign corporations. Burkina Faso's bold move threatens to disrupt this system, and global powers don't like it. And it's not just about geopolitics. It's about economics. Burkina Faso's decision to restrict gold exports has already impacted global markets. While the effects have been modest so far, the real question is, what happens if more African nations follow suit? For Burkina Faso, though, the focus remains local. Traoré's government is betting on reinvesting gold revenues into education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Now let me tell you why this is such a big deal for Burkina Faso, its people, and the global gold market. Africa is rich, immensely rich. Yet for decades, the wealth of this continent has been extracted, exported, and exploited by foreign powers. Now, Burkina Faso is standing up, reclaiming its resources and charting a bold new path. But here's the kicker. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this. Remember Libya under Muammar Gaddafi? Love him or hate him, Gaddafi used Libya's oil wealth to transform his country into one of Africa's most prosperous nations. Could Burkina Faso's gold revolution under Ibrahim Traoré do the same? Today, we'll explore why this move could be a game changer for Africa and what lessons Burkina Faso can learn from Gaddafi's Libya. First, let's rewind. Libya under Muammar Gaddafi was one of the most remarkable examples of resource nationalism in Africa. Gaddafi took control of Libya's vast oil reserves and kicked out foreign corporations that had dominated the industry. The result: Libya became the richest country in Africa, with free education, universal healthcare, and some of the best infrastructure on the continent. Oil revenues didn't just fund domestic programs, they fueled Gaddafi's vision for African unity. He dreamed of an Africa free from foreign control, even proposing a single African currency backed by gold. This plan, the so-called gold dinar, was meant to create a united African economy, independent of the US dollar and euro. And guess what? It terrified global powers. Fast forward to today, and Burkina Faso is starting a similar journey. By reclaiming its gold mines and banning foreign-controlled exports, Traoré is doing for gold what Gaddafi did for oil. Here's why this is such a big deal. Gold, like oil, isn't just a commodity, it's a symbol of sovereignty. By keeping its gold in local hands, Burkina Faso isn't just generating wealth, it's building the foundation for independence. Take a look at what happened in Libya. Oil profits didn't just make the country richer, they empowered the government to provide free housing, fund ambitious development projects, and even support liberation movements across Africa. Burkina Faso is aiming for the same thing. Traoré's administration has already announced plans to reinvest gold revenues into schools, hospitals, and roads. But here's the bigger picture. If Burkina Faso succeeds, it won't just transform its own economy. It could inspire a wave of resource nationalism across Africa. Imagine African countries controlling their oil, gold, diamonds, and rare earth minerals on their own terms. It's a vision that could break the continent's dependency on foreign aid and reshape global power dynamics. But as we saw with Libya, this kind of independence comes with risks. Gaddafi's bold moves made him a target. His push for African unity and the gold-backed dinar threatened the global economic order, and many believe it contributed to the NATO-led intervention that toppled him. The tragic aftermath of Libya serves as a warning. Without strong alliances and a robust defense strategy, Burkina Faso's gold revolution could face similar challenges. But there's a key difference. Traoré isn't acting alone. He's forming regional alliances with other Sahel countries like Mali and Niger, who share a similar vision. Together, they're creating a bloc that could resist external pressure. This could be the beginning of a new wave of Pan-Africanism. Just like Gaddafi's dream of a united Africa, Traoré's gold revolution could spark a broader movement for resource sovereignty. For Burkina Faso, though, the stakes are high. This isn't just about economics, it's about dignity, pride, and rewriting the story of Africa's relationship with the world. Now, the government must ensure that local producers can match that output without harming the environment or exploiting workers. And speaking of the environment, there's another concern: sustainable mining. Critics warn that without strict regulations, increased local production could lead to deforestation, water contamination, and other environmental disasters. Traoré, however, seems unfazed. His administration has pledged to balance economic growth with environmental sustainability, partnering with local experts to create a gold industry that benefits all Burkinabé. But Burkina Faso's gold revolution isn't just about Burkina Faso. It's part of a larger trend across Africa. From Zambia reclaiming its copper mines to Tanzania renegotiating deals with foreign mining companies, African nations are increasingly demanding a bigger share of their resource wealth. Could Traoré's actions inspire a continent-wide shift? This isn't the first time African leaders have tried to reclaim their resources. Think back to the 1970s, when leaders like Thomas Sankara, ironically also from Burkina Faso, pushed for economic independence. The difference this time? A new generation of leaders, like Traoré, are armed with lessons from the past and a clearer understanding of global economics. But for this movement to succeed, it will take more than one nation. Many experts argue that African countries need to unite, forming regional alliances to negotiate better deals and resist outside interference. Could this be the start of a pan-African economic revolution? Some say yes, but others caution that global powers won't let this happen without a fight. From economic sanctions to covert destabilization efforts, history shows us that reclaiming resources often comes with a steep price. For now, Burkina Faso is standing tall, ready to chart its own course. Whether it sparks a continental movement or faces international pushback, one thing is clear. This is a pivotal moment in African history. So will Burkina Faso succeed where Libya ultimately failed? Can Traoré's gold revolution inspire a new era of African independence, or will history repeat itself? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're as fascinated by this story as I am, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the geopolitics shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay informed, stay curious, and keep questioning the narrative.